I never wanted to be a part of the mission, growing up as a missionary kid.
Who is the reason behind all this? Who called my parents? Why am I struggling so much? It is God. So God is wrong.
I wanted to get the best out of ministry and run away from ministry.
We all grew up together, all three of us. Sunday ஆனால் சிக்கன் எனக்கு வேணும். சிக்கன் கேட்டால் ப்ரேயர் பண்ணுன்னு ஏதாவது சொல்லிடுவாங்களா? இல்லை வேறு ஏதாவது டாய்ஸ் கேட்டால் ப்ரேயர் பண்ணுன்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்களா? அண்ட் ஐம் லைக், எதுக்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் ப்ரேயர் பண்ணணும்? ஏன் மற்றவங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் கிடைக்குதுல்ல? இப்படி கஷ்டப்படுத்துகிற ஆண்டவருக்கு நான் ஏன் நல்லவனாக வாழணும்? ஸோ லெட் மீ டூ ஆல் த நான்சென்ஸ் தட் ஐ கேன் டூ, on the inside, but on the outside I will live as the perfect missionary kid. கதவை தட்டுறாங்க, திறக்கிறோம், உங்கள் அப்பா அடிச்சு ஆற்றுல போட்டாங்க, நாளைக்கு பாடி கிடச்சா ஃபியூனரல் வச்சுக்கலாம், பாடி இல்லைன்னா நாளைக்கு ஃபியூனரல் கிடையாது, இது உங்கள் அம்மா சொல்லிடுங்க. திஸ் இஸ் த எக்ஸாக்ட், ஐ ரிமெம்பர் எக்ஸாக்ட் டயலாக் he said.
All masked up. Some people are masked up, some people wore turbans. They all rushed in, they flooded into the house. Now I'm thinking about my mom and my dad. What situation they would have been.
Every time before eating he will pray like this and he will eat. And சும்மா இருக்கும் போது VBS பாட்டு, something will be humming. So they actually fell in love with this guy. They were admiring,
So these are Naxalites.
ஆமா.
So Abner's party used to bring pandam for me, pandam. SV language,
And his mom will call, சாமியா எப்படியா இருக்க, நல்லா இருக்கியா, சாப்பிட்டியா, என்னைய பண்டம் அமைச்சிங்களா? That will be the first thing that he'll say. Because I didn't choose ministry. Did I hear from God now? I was in UKG, man. What did I do?
No, true. One thing that Avisnantal is very particular about is safety of the campus, safety of the children, the missionaries, missionary kids.
Hi guys, welcome to the Encounter podcast.
Thank you.
So good to have you today.
Thank you for the opportunity, Joyce.
Kandipa, this episode is going to be very, very close to my heart. Yeah, I'm so grateful that you guys are here.
Yeah, we're grateful as well.
I think நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே ரொம்ப ஒரு காமனான ஒரு விஷயம் வந்து we're all missionary kids. So நிறைய பேர் they celebrate missionaries, but people don't talk about what a missionary kid goes through. Not many of them know. So, shall we talk about that today?
Yeah, I think that's what we are here for. So
We only know that, right?
Yeah. We know only that.
So, we'll start with Sam. So, today you are a part of GEMS Media. So, as a missionary, you were there in Bihar. Samraj, where was he born? How did childhood look like?
Yeah.
எப்படி இன்னைக்கு வந்து ஒரு மிஷனரி நீங்க மாறி உங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாரையும் தாண்டி how are you serving God? Where did it all start?
So one of the most difficult questions you asked, நீங்க கேட்ட question வந்துட்டு where was I born and where are you from, is the question that I get, and it's very difficult to answer because my parents are from Tirunelveli and down south, and I was born in Pondicherry, and then few weeks later or a month later they took me on the train to Bihar, and I was brought up in Bihar. And when people ask where is home, I tell Bihar.
Yeah.
We speak Tamil and people are very confused.
I think இப்போ லாஸ்டா கூட ஒரு சின்ன பையன் he commented something, no?
Yeah. ஒரு பையன், when we went to SV, this guy, he came and I think he was 6th grade or something, 6th standard பையன் வந்துட்டு அப்படியே ஃபுல்லாக தூத்துக்குடி ஸ்லாங்கில் வந்துட்டு, அண்ணே அப்புறம் எங்கேருந்து வரிய, பீகாரா, என்ன சும்மா சொல்லாதிய, என்ன பீகாரா, தமிழ்லாம் பேசுகிறீங்க, என்ன பீகார், என்னடா எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மா திருநெல்வேலிடா, இப்போ திருநெல்வேலின்னு சொல்லுங்க, என்ன பீகாருன்றீங்க, நம்ம ஊரை விட்டு கொடுக்கலாமா? என்னடா 6th தானே படிக்கிறேன், ஊர் எதுன்னு பேசிகிட்டு இருக்கேன். And then I was like, இங்கிலீஷ்லாம் பயங்கரமாக பேசுகிறீங்க, என்ன? நான் இங்கே இதில் தான்டா படித்தேன், நானும் இங்கே இங்கிலீஷ் ஸ்கூலில் தான்டா படித்தேன் அப்படின்னே, சும்மா அப்பா என்ன பொய் சொல்லிட்டு. So for us, we grew up in a home like that. I grew up in a home like that. Everyone around, my friends, we all spoke Hindi and Bhojpuri.
Yeah.
our parents hated Bhojpuri.
என்னையும் சேர்த்துக்கலாம்ல.
It's one of the best languages, yeah.
This is one.
நீங்க நடுவில் திடீர்னு போஜ்பூரியில பேசிடக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு
ஒரு 3 பேர் போஜ்பூரியில் பேசிட்டு இருக்காங்கன்னா தமிழ்நாட்டில் யாராவது வந்து நடுவில் மாட்டிங்க இந்த பர்முடா ட்ரையாங்கிளில் மாட்டின மாதிரி என்ன பண்ணுறது
சண்டை போடுறாங்களோ.
ஆமாம் சண்டை போடுறாங்கன்னு என்ன போய் சண்டையை நிறுத்துங்க நார்மலாக பேசிகிட்டு இருப்போம். ஸோ யா லைக் to answer your question also related to that is that it's difficult, at least for me personally I can say it's difficult to identify with where I am completely from, but mostly like right now as Samraj who's sitting in front of you right now I can say that God had plans for me to be in Bihar, and that's why he took my parents there. And I was no accident that I was born in Bihar, and now I have the privilege to be a missionary in Bihar. And I'm very grateful that I can serve in Bihar, the very place where in my childhood life I used to question why am I here and எதுக்கு நான் இங்கே இருக்கணும். எத்தனையோ இடம் இருக்குது, என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாருமே வந்துட்டு இப்படி இருக்கிறாங்க அப்படி இருக்கிறாங்க, எதுக்கு நான் இங்கே இருக்கணும், மினிஸ்ட்ரியில் எதுக்கு இருக்கு என் பேரண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கணும், where do I fit in this அப்படின்ட்டு a lot of questions was there. And if you ask me now, I'm just super grateful to God. God has placed me there, not me. I did not choose, but God has chosen me and he had kept me there, and I'm glad I'm married now, and me and my wife, we are there in Bihar now. So yeah.
Wow. Wonderful. So Ken,
Yeah.
I know now you're from Madurai, you pastored church there. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி திருச்சியில் KCCல இருந்தீங்க. Now you've shifted to Madurai and all of that. Wonderful. But where did your life begin? Where were you born? How did you end up in Tamil Nadu?
I was born in Tamil Nadu. That's how I ended up in Tamil Nadu. So yeah, to answer your question, I was born in Vellore, but my parents are not from Vellore. My dad is from Tirunelveli, my mom is from Madurai. And they both worked in Vellore. My mom worked in CMC and my dad worked in Tamil Nadu Explosives Limited. And I was born in Vellore. And when I was in UKG, that's when my parents got... So before this, when I was in LKG, my mom went to Saudi.
Okay.
CMC. So CMT to Saudi is like always a corridor. Everybody goes like that. No? So she went to Saudi where God spoke to her saying, this is not your place, go back. And that's how she came back to Vellore. She didn't have a job. She didn't get a job that she was about to get and stuff. Then my dad and mom, they decided to fast and pray. They both decided to pray at different times, but they had one diary themselves, each one, and they thought they'll write whatever God tells them. At the end of the 45th day, they both of them brought their own diaries and they opened and they wanted to compare or share what God spoke to them. Both of them wrote the same lines. நான் உனக்கு கனமும் மகிமையான ஊழியத்தை தருவேன், எல்லாருக்கும் கொடுப்பதில்லை, பட் உங்களுக்கு தரேன், உங்களை திக்கற்றவங்களா விட மாட்டேன். These are the lines, exact lines. It's not just one word or two words, same lines. And that's where they, and அதிலிருந்து randomly my mom saw Yutta Satam in one of her friend's place. And அதில் யுத்த சத்தமில் அட்வர்டைஸிங்க்கு நிறைய போட்டிருக்கோம்ல, அப்போது 24 hours current and water facility available. So my mom was curious, like, வாட்டரும் கரண்ட்டையும் அட்வர்டைஸ் பண்ணுற அளவுக்கு ஒரு இடமா, அது என்ன மாதிரி ஒரு இடம். Then she asked, இது என்னதுன்னு, it's GEMS, Bihar and all that. And then they got, they prayed. God gave them the confirmation. Dad also quit the job. That was the only salary in which our entire family, our joint family was there. So the entire family was running on. That's how they got the call, went to Bihar. And I went to Bihar when I was in UKG. And then, grew up my entire life there. Best thing happened in my life. I'm like really thankful to God. We all grew up together, all three of us.
Yeah, we'll dig into that later.
So we all grew up together. And then for my college, I wanted to... I applied in like many places, got in all of those places. I did not apply to Bishop Heber College. But I really wanted to get into Bishop Heber College for some reason. I did not understand at that point. And then God opened ways for me to get into Bishop Heber College 1 month after the college started. Because my result came late and all those things. But yeah, I got into the college and I came to Tamil Nadu. And I stayed in Tamil Nadu for more than a month only after 12th. அப்போதான் நான் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கே I'm coming back to Tamil Nadu. I'm like studying there. அங்கே இருக்கிறேன். That's when I went to church. Initially I didn't go to church. We'll come back to that. But அப்போதான் I went to King City Church in Trichy and then grew up there. and a lot of things happened. God spoke much more, got a calling. Now I am pastoring a church, King City Church, Madurai in Madurai. Yeah, so yeah, thank you. That's what I do.
Abner.
Right.
So,
Abner.
Abner. Okay. Now, you've come down from Sweden. Yeah. But where were you born? Where were you brought up? How did your parents ended up going to the mission?
I was born in Tirunelveli. That is my native. My parents both are from Tirunelveli. My parents were working there. I was born there. We moved to Bihar when I was 2 years old.
Mm.
So I was born there. My parents just accepted God before their marriage, a few years before their marriage. And then they were serving already with the local church and very active, my dad and all. And then I think it was in an open air meeting where Augustine uncle was preaching, and he gave this call for missionaries, and he said, and then dad took that seriously, and he was already working with an institute.
Mm-hmm.
He was a principal in an institute. He was leading it, and then Augustine uncle also wanted someone to fill that same position, in Bihar. So he felt that that was for him, and they confirmed it together. And then we went to Bihar.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you all told me where you're from and how did your parents ended up in the mission. But how did your childhood look like? Valarumbodhu? Could you please share, Sam?
Oh, where do I begin?
You all
கண்ணி எனக்கு கலங்காது. என்னோட டீச்சர்ஸ் வார்டன்ஸ் அவங்களுக்கு தான் கண் கலங்கும்.
you always wanted to be a part of the mission, or how?
No. I never wanted to be a part of the mission. Growing up as a missionary kid, if we are being honest here, if we are having honest conversation here, growing up as a missionary kid, as a first generation missionary child, I never wanted to be in ministry. I never wanted to do anything in ministry.
Yeah.
And my lifestyle also reflected that attitude. For various reasons, for plenty of reasons that I had taken things in my own hand. நானா என்னோட சுயத்தினால நான் பண்ண காரியங்களும் நிறையா. But at the same time, circumstance, how it had, being separated from parents and lacking that love that I deserve from my parents. For various reasons, I always questioned why am I in this place, rather than just trying to wrap my head around that. So that was definitely not a thought in my head, that I want to come to ministry or something. I wanted to get the best out of ministry and run away from ministry. I wanted the gifts, I wanted the talents, I wanted the blessings from ministry, but I didn't want the anointing, to be honest. So that's how, looking back today, இது இவ்வளோ தெளிவாலாம் எனக்கு அப்போ தெரியாது. If you ask me this question, years ago, I don't know. But like today, when I sit here, saved by the grace of God, and carrying the Holy Spirit in me, and just knowing that I'm saved by His grace, I can tell you that I wanted to run away, just take the best out of it and run away and escape that bubble of ministry and do something for myself. So that is what my thought was. And
You grew up in a boarding school, right?
yeah, so I studied, my school life was very messed up, Joyce. I was a very problematic child. I was a very notorious child. ரொம்ப சேட்டை பண்ணுவேன். And I used to get into trouble a lot. And my parents used to really get into a lot of difficult situations because of me. My mom was a very prayerful woman. So I grew up like that. So I grew up in Bihar. First, second அங்கே படித்தேன். Third, fourth இனிய டோனாவூரில் போட்டாங்க. சந்தோஷ வித்யாலயா, அது very well known school for missionary kids. So they put me there. Then again, my parents probably they started missing me, and they again took me back to, and I was also nagging and nudging. I was not able to adapt there. 5th, 6th, they again put me in school. And then sixth I studied so well, ரொம்ப சூப்பராக படிக்க ஆரம்பித்தேன், செம்மையாக ஃபீல் ஆகிட்டேன். I remember this guy. he was a junior, he was 1 year junior to me. When I was doing 6th, he was 5th standard. And I had the report card. See, none of this, I'm not proud of any of this. It's just funny when I look back at it. So, people watching, fail ஆனது ஏதோ பெருமையாக சொல்லிட்டு அப்படின்ட்டு நினைக்கக்கூடாது. It's just funny for me when I look back at it. So when I was in my 6th grade, my parents, PTM எங்கள் அப்பா அம்மா சண்டை போடுவாங்க, நீங்கள் போங்க, நீங்கள் இவனை கூப்பிட்டு நான் எங்கே போகிறது அப்படின்ட்டு. They used to be embarrassed to come for PTM.
This was at Gem School.
Gem School, yes. So in Gem's school, Gem's English School, and I'm in my 6th standard. And I went, and my mom just found out that I failed. My
Failed and detained, not
detained.
ஓ,
Like detained. So I can't.
9th வரைக்கும் பாஸ் அதெல்லாம் இல்லையா?
no.
இல்லைங்க,
ரொம்ப ஆதிகாலம்.
ஆதிகாலம் காலம் நல்லா தான் இருந்துச்சு, என் படிப்பு அந்த நிலைமையில இருந்துச்சு. So it was not back then and all, just but yeah, I was, like I said, I used to be all over the place, and I used to not focus on my studies and stuff. So yeah, then my mom, even she was disappointed, and she was crying and upset. And then I was also நல்லா வீட்டில் அடி விழுந்துச்சு, வீட்டில் போயிட்டு அழுதுட்டு உட்காந்துருக்கிறேன். இவர் வராரு, இவர் 2-3 பேர் வராங்க, ஓடி பயங்கரமா ஆல் செலிப்ரேட்டிங் அண்ட் கம்மிங். நாங்கெல்லாம் சாம் நாங்களாம் எல்லாம் ஒரே 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 செக்ஷன்ல இருக்கோம் அப்படின்ட்டு.
6th B இவனுக்கும் ரிப்போர்ட் கார்டில் டீடைன் டு 6th B போட்டுருந்துச்சு. So I was very happy.
These guys were 1 year junior to me. And then இப்போ இவங்க கிளாஸுக்கு போயிட்டானே இவனுக்கு ஒரே சந்தோஷம். இவனுக்கு இப்படி வந்து சொன்னோடனே எங்கள் அம்மாட்ட சொல்லிட்டேன், தயவு செஞ்சு என்னை திரும்ப ப்ளீஸ் புட் மீ பேக் இன் டோன் அவர். They are celebrating my failure. And
sorry.
Anyways, yeah. So then again, I did my 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th again in SV in Donaur, Santosh Vidyalaya.
But how is it staying away from home in a boarding school?
After a point of time, Joyce, like we just became numb. Like to be honest, like my dad used to come and drop me, and that friends வந்து started that developed a level of excitement. ஸோ அதனால் வந்துட்டு விட்டு போவாங்க. ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் how did they return back from holidays and all these. So we got used to it, not like numb as in like சுத்தமே உணர்வு இல்லாமல் இல்லை, but then we got used to that kind of atmosphere, used to that kind of reality. Okay, இதுதான் அப்படின்ட்டு we had to accept that. So yeah, then 10th where I was there, and again in SV I was a very troublesome child. I was a very the management, everyone, they had a really difficult time because of the kind of life and all these things. I can't just say that I was looking for trouble or something that was some sort of emptiness and gaps that were there in my life when I was young, unanswered questions, untouched areas where nobody was able to talk to, யார்ட்டையும் போய் பேச முடியாது, about real emotions. So all these things, I would say, triggered all the these things, and eventually I was like that. So I don't blame the circumstance for it. I take the blame myself, but yeah, that's how it was. And then again 11th and 12th, I came and I was with my parents again. I studied in GEMS Bihar again, and after that, yeah, I went to college. Yeah, so that was my study, like schooling life, that I just wanted to share.
But what do you think, what else are like few things that these kids go through in their school days or when they are young? Maybe missing parents, ரொம்ப ஊழியம் அப்படின்னு பிஸியாக இருக்கிறது சில இருக்கும், வேற வந்து not being understood, or like வேற ஏதாவது carrying some hurt. So அது மாதிரி what do you think are like the few commonalities in...
I can speak, like I think Kenneth and Abner will cover the other aspect, but I can speak from an aspect of being partially shifted, as in like being with parents and then not being with parents at all for like 4 years. So that kind of I tasted the love that I can get from parents. Okay, I can actually get this home feeling and food and everything. It all plays a part, right? The food and everything. That's what makes a home complete. Amma veetu samayal அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு that brings a joy when we hear about it today. So all these things. So one of the most common things that I think we can all relate to was feeling misunderstood. feeling misunderstood in various forms. I mean, we all, every human, not just missionary kids, every human can relate with that. But for missionary kids, what stands out to be different is that, like I said in the beginning, who am I? Like, என்னோட ஐடென்டிட்டி தான் என்ன, நான் என்னதான் பண்றேன், why am I put in this hostel, why am I put in this place, why am I put in this, like why from South Indiaல இருந்து வந்து எதுக்கு நார்த்ல இருக்கணும், and all these things after a certain period of time, after I'm exposed, all these things. So feeling misunderstood is like, where do I relate to? வெளியே போய் கசின்ஸ் கூட விளையாடுற போது ஐ கான்ட் ரிலேட். அவங்க வந்துட்டு த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் டாபிக் தே ஸ்பீக், அதெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு ரிலேட் பண்ண முடியாது. த கைண்ட் ஆஃப் லாங்குவேஜ் தட் தே கேரி, ஐ எம் நாட் ஏபிள் டு ரிலேட் வித் தெம் கம்ப்ளீட்லி. ஸோ ஆல் தீஸ் திங்ஸ் பைல்ட் அப் அண்ட் இட் லெட் டு ஃபீலிங் மிஸ்அண்டர்ஸ்டுட், ஃபீலிங் அன்னோன்.
பட் ஆனால் வந்து ஜெம் ஸ்கூலில் படிக்கும் போது ப்ராபபிளி எல்லாரும் வந்து ஏதாவது பண்ணால் மிஷினரி கிட் நீ இப்படி பண்ணுற அப்படின்னு மேபி ஏதாவது did you like go through something like that? Maybe SV-ல இருக்கும்போது maybe you were just away home, so I mean directா டக்குன்னு parents கிட்ட அவ்வளோ நோட் பண்ணி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லிருக்க மாட்டாங்க.
Yeah. I mean that's there, right? Like any mission campus, that is a challenge for the parents also. To look out for their children and also for the children. ஏன்னா என்ன நடந்தாலும் வந்துட்டு டீச்சர்ஸ் தான் வந்துட்டு பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸாக இருப்பாங்க. all living, all like thousands of people living in one in society. Yeah, so that was there, that pressure of missionary பையனா இருந்துட்டு இப்படி நீ பண்ணலாமா, and so I think that specific tag that was given to us, that was given to me, that itself kind of turned into little bit of hatred. It's like, அப்போ வந்துட்டு அது என்ன மிஷினரி பையனா இருந்துட்டு பண்ணலாமா, பட் நார்மலா இருந்துட்டு பண்ணா அது what's the difference, where is the difference, where do you draw a line, as in missionary kids should do this, but normally normal kid can do this, or a secular kid can do this, அப்படின்ட்டு where you draw a line. So these things I won't say was very loud in our heads, but where it was there in the back of our heads. And I'll tell one thing, the enemy used these things as his like tool to just spiral it up and like boost panni to provoke certain questions that were not true. At the end of the day, these were lies that were put in our head. It was not the truth. God had chosen us. God had said very clearly, you are a chosen generation. And the blessings over your parents, father and mother, is also over you. God who has called you a father and mother, who has also called you. This is ultimately the truth, biblical truth that we have today. But back then this was not clear to us. We were not ready to accept it. Our parents did try to pass this on to us. A lot of missionaries did. VBS le seri, நிறைய பேர் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு we were not ready to accept it because of this bitterness that we had in our hearts. And you guys can also.
Yeah, Kenneth, how was your school life? Where did you study?
So it started with so நான் UKG-ல வந்தேன்ல, so எடுத்தோன்னே I had to learn, and I joined the school in the quarterly exam leave. I did not even wait. My parents could not wait for the immediate obedience. They just came. And I had to learn and write Hindi exam. So my teachers would actually try to teach me, but I was just maybe dumb, I guess, that they would get so frustrated that they would hit me. And then I would be so scared that I cannot learn Hindi also. I cannot go to school also. எனக்கு எதுவுமே புரியல. So one day, so every day my dad used to, எப்பெல்லாம் அந்த ஸ்கூலில் விட்றாரு, நான் ஒரு காலை பிடிச்சிட்டு விடவே மாட்டேன், காலை டைட்டாக பிடிச்சிக்கேன். அவர் அசம்பிளியில் எல்லாரும் முன்னாடியும் என்ன இப்படி வெல்க்ரோ மாதிரி எடுத்து விட்டுருப்பேன். And I would hold his legs so tight. And I remember one day that my dad asked me, கிச்சனில் நான் அழுதுட்டு இருக்கேன் ஸ்கூலுக்கு போகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, ஏன்னா ஸ்கூலுக்கு போனால் அடி விழுக்குன்னு தெரியும். So, see, I'm not blaming anybody, but teachers also, it was difficult, having kids like me and Samraj.
Another level of difficulty.
So, ஒரு நாள் எங்கள் அப்பா கேட்குறாரு, கிச்சனில் இருக்கோம், கிச்சனுக்கு பின்னாடி அனக்கம் ஹோம் கிரவுண்ட், அங்கே ஜெம்ஸ் கேம்பஸ், நடுவில் ஒரு கிரவுண்ட் இருக்கும் பெருசாக, அங்கே நிறையா எருமை மாடெல்லாம் மேய்ஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கு. ஸோ மை டேட் இஸ் ஆஸ்கிங் மீ, இன்னைக்கு நீ ஸ்கூலுக்கு போகலான்னா உன்னை எருமை மாடு மேய்க்க விட்டுருவேன் அப்படின்னு. I just said, நான் எருமை மாடு மேய்ச்சிடுறேன், எனக்கு எருமை மாடு கொடுத்துருவேன், எருமை மாடு மேய்ச்சிடுறேன், ஸ்கூலுக்கு போக மாட்டேன். That's the kind of starting for me the school was. But it was really fun. It was really fun. I would say it was a mix of both also. Fun இருந்துச்சு, அதோட dark sides இருந்துச்சு, bright sides இருந்துச்சு. So I loved going to school. I loved doing, I was I was out there. என்ன ப்ரோக்ராம்னாலும் எதுலனாலும் I would be involved, dance, skit, music, whatever. I would just love to do it. And I really want to thank God that if I did not grow up as a missionary kid, I would have never gotten opportunities to do any of these things. Because when I came back to college and I hear parents talk, அவனை இந்த கீபோர்ட் கிளாஸ்க்கு ஒரு 2000, ட்ரம்ஸ் கிளாஸ்க்கு ஒரு 2000, டான்ஸ்க்கு ஒரு 2000 ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணுறேன். And I just look back and I think that we were so grateful.
We got all these for free.
I'm so grateful to God that our school fees was free.
Yeah.
School fees kuda my parents didn't have to pay, and you know, God opened ways, and you know, James was graceful enough to make that possible. That's the kind of grace that I experienced. But I was completely blinded. Yana, in 2005, my mom went to Uttar Pradesh to study for higher studies. Or 1 year she was not with us. And my sister and me and my sister, we are 4 years apart. So she would have her own set of friends, I would have my own set of friends. And my dad, who doesn't know to cook, and also he would make some dosa, it will be torn. He'll try to feed us.
Hey,
and now dad is like the best, you know. So he used to, that's how our everyday life was, okay, adventurous. Appo one Sunday, my dad and 3 of his friends, Kirbakaran uncle, one doctor from CMC who had come to visit, Jesraj uncle, all 3 and my dad, they used to go to village ministry every Sunday. This is not like once, every Sunday போவாங்க. அப்படி ஒரு சண்டே போயிருக்கும்போது நானும் எங்கள் அக்காவும் வீட்டில் ஹாலில் வந்து சாக்கில் வந்து ஃபுல்லாக வரைஞ்சி வீட்டை ஹாலை வந்து ஒரு டெக்கரேட் பண்ணி விளையாடிட்டு இருக்கோம். And all of a sudden sound பயங்கரமாக வருது, அங்கங்கிருந்து கல்லுலாம் வருது, and we don't know what to do. So my sister quickly went and locked the house. ஓடி போய் வீடை லாக் பண்ணிட்டு நாங்கள் வீட்டிலேருந்து பார்க்குறோம். And I'm looking from the kitchen door. எனக்கு அங்கே தூரத்தில் தெரியுது எடியனா, அகஸ்டன் அங்கிள் சன் எடியனா, he is running towards the back gate. நிறைய people உள்ளே வராங்க. He's trying to close the gate. I can still remember, it's fresh in my mind. He's trying to close the gate and he's running back. அப்போ உள்ள பேச்சுலர் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் ஹெவியாக, they are all running, அங்கங்கே ஓடுறாங்க. And we are alone. எங்களுக்கு என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு தெரியல. And கொஞ்ச நேரத்தில் நியூஸ் comes that my dad and everybody is like beaten up and everything. எங்கள் அப்பா ஃப்ரண்ட் கேட்டில் வர ட்ரை பண்ணார், வர முடியல. ஸோ என்ன ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா riot ஸ்டார்ட் ஆயிடுச்சு. they were against our gospel work. So you know what enemy does, no? So they picked up a fight for no reason. They hit Augustine uncle also. அதுக்கு 1 week கழிச்சு தான் this happened. So my dad tried to come to the back gate. எங்கள் அப்பா கூட இருக்க ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாரையுமே அடிச்சு, my dad's bike and all was completely thrashed. And then ஜெயஸ்ராஜ் அங்கிளை அடிச்சிட்டாங்க. I think they put an iron rod in him. And Kirbakaran uncle அடிச்சு they threw him in the field. He just became like a vegetable, like unconscious ஆயிட்டார் அவர் பாவம். They threw him in the field. இந்த சிஎம்சிலேருந்து வந்த டாக்டர் வந்து he tried to run through a fence. ஸோ அவர் வந்து ஓடும் போது அந்த ஃபென்ஸில் மாட்டிக்கிட்டார். அப்போ they started beating him. So he said, he doesn't know Hindi, அடிக்காதீங்க நான் டாக்டர். I remember when all of these things got over, literally his hand was like shredded. That's how they bit him, okay? I remember all of these things. And my dad alone did not faint. My dad has never picked a fight with anybody in history, okay? But I don't know, for some reason, his hand fractured, his head broke, his back and all was fully like, you know, but he didn't faint. So they took him, they kidnapped him. They எடுத்துட்டு போய் வீட்டில் கட்டி வச்சிட்டாங்க, இவரை கொண்டுடணும் அப்படின்னு. they are talking. That's another whole story where my dad had to recommit his life to Christ and then he got. So இதெல்லாம் நடக்கும்போது நானும் எங்கள் அக்கா மட்டும் இருக்கோம், எங்கள் அம்மாவும் இல்லை. அப்போ ஒருத்தவங்க 2 அங்கிள் வந்து சொல்கிறாங்க எங்ககிட்ட, in all goodness they would have said it, but we were not mature enough to. கதவை தட்டுறாங்க, திறக்கிறோம், உங்கள் அப்பா அடிச்சு ஆற்றுல போட்டாங்க, நாளைக்கு பாடி கிடச்சா ஃபியூனரல் வச்சுக்கலாம், பாடி இல்லைன்னா நாளைக்கு ஃபியூனரல் கிடையாது, இது உங்கள் அம்மாட்ட சொல்லிடுங்க. This is the exact, I remember exact dialogue he said. And me and my sister starts crying, but I'm too young. And because they're telling me, நான் உனக்கு கார்லாம் வாங்கி தரேமா, நீ அழுகக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு என்ன இது பண்ணுறாங்க. They are trying to pacify me. எங்கள் அக்கா அழுகுறாங்க. And all of this is happening. And I don't know if my dad will come back or not. This went on. And my dad eventually came back. Night, God saved him out and he came back. Campus kulla vandu, he got admitted at the hospital. And the time la CMC la correct our group of doctors were there for a camp. Their flight got cancelled, so they had to stay back and they could give treatment to all the 4 of them. பயங்கரமாக நடந்து ரொம்ப பெரிய லெவலுக்கு this problem went. But 1 month later, my dad and me, we both are standing outside our house, school போறதுக்கு ரெடியா. அப்போ one guy is crossing our house. அப்போ நல்லா ஸ்டெடியாக நடந்து வந்துட்டு இருக்கான். எங்கள் அப்பா பார்த்தோன்னே இப்படி தலையை எடுக்கணும்னுட்டான். நான் கேட்டேன், ஏன், why did he do that? Then he said, this was one of the guys who bet me. And he was working in our organization. Okay, so all the people who are with us, like all the not our missionary வந்தாங்களா நான் சொல்ல, நம்ம அங்கே போய் நம்ம ஜாப் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் கிரியேட் பண்ணி எம்பவர் பண்ணி whatever Augustine uncle was his vision to do, they misused that, right? So அவங்க they turned back and they did that. So I had a huge anger, okay, but I did not know whom to put it on. ஏன்னா ஒரு சண்டே ஆனால் சிக்கன் எனக்கு வேணும், சிக்கன் கேட்டால் ப்ரேயர் பண்ணுன்னு ஏதாவது சொல்லிடுவாங்களா, இல்லை வேறு ஏதாவது டாய்ஸ் கேட்டால் ப்ரேயர் பண்ணுன்னு சொல்லிடுவாங்களா. அண்ட் ஐம் லைக் எதுக்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் ப்ரேயர் பண்ணணும், ஏன் மற்றவங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் கிடைக்குதுல்ல. அண்ட் யூ கம் ஃபார் சம்மர் வெக்கேஷன் அண்ட் யூ see your mom's colleagues who have kids, they are all living, அந்த டைமில் it felt amazing, they are all living amazing lives and I used to feel so left out and I had so much anger in me. இந்த ஆங்கர் ஆனால் எங்கே போடுறதுனே தெரில. அப்பா அம்மா மேலேயும் போட முடியாதுன்ற ஒரு ஐடியா கிடைக்குது, ஏன்னா அவங்களும் தேர் ட்ரைங் டு டூ த ரைட் திங். ரிலேட்டிவ்ஸ் மேலே எனக்கு ஐ ஹேட் சம் ஆங்கர் பிகாஸ் யூனோ ஐ குடன்ட் கனெக்ட் வித் தெம். போனால் ஒரு நாள் ஒரு ரிலேட்டிவ் வீட்டில், ஏன்னா நம்மளுக்கு ஓன் வீடு கிடையாது, அப்போ ஒரு நாள் ஒரு ரிலேட்டிவ் வீட்டில், அடுத்த நாள் இன்னொரு ரிலேட்டிவ், அடுத்த நாள் யார் கூடயும் கனெக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. அப்பா அம்மா வில் பி லைக் ரிலேட்டிவ்ஸ்ட்ட பேசு பழகு, ஹவு வில் ஐ, தீஸ் கைஸ் ஆர் மோர் தென் ரிலேட்டிவ்ஸ் டு மீ, ரைட்? அண்ட் இங்கே வந்தாலும் தே வில் கோ பேக் டு ஹாஸ்டல். ஸோ ஐ குட் நாட் அட்டாச் வித் எனிபடி. So I had no best friend for a long time. I had only a group of friends. I had no best friend. And I had a lot of anger. எங்கே போடுறதுன்னு தெரியாமல் finally one day I just maybe, I don't know, it was one day or like days or months of anger that I thought, who is the reason behind all this? Who called my parents? Why am I struggling so much? It is God. So God is wrong. God தான் என்னை கஷ்டப்படுத்துறாரு. ஸோ ஐ ஹேட் மை என்டையர் ஆங்கர் ஆன் காட். பட் எவ்ரி சண்டே போனால் காடை தான் வர்ஷிப் பண்ணுறோம், சர்மன் காடை தான், ஸ்கூல் அசம்பிளி போனால் காடை பற்றி தான் பேசுகிறோம் எல்லாமே. ஸோ ஐ நியூ தட் ஐ குட் நாட், நான் என்னால் ஆண்டரையும் பகைக்க முடியாது, பட் எனக்கு அவர் மேலே கோவம் இருக்குது. ஏன்னா ஆண்டரை தான் பார்க்க முடியாது, பேரண்ட்ஸை பார்க்கலாம், அவங்க மேலே கோவத்தை வச்சுட்டு ரொம்ப நாள் இருக்க முடியாது, சிப்ளிங்ஸை பார்க்கலாம், எல்லோரும் பார்க்கலாம், பட் ஆண்டரை பார்க்க முடியாதனால ஐ புட் ஆல் மை ஆங்கர் ஆன் God. So my entire childhood, I would say, went in that. And I started living a life which is like, இப்படி கஷ்டப்படுத்துகிற ஆண்டவருக்கு நான் ஏன் நல்லவனாக வாழணும்? ஸோ லெட் மீ டூ ஆல் த நான்சென்ஸ் தட் ஐ கேன் டூ, யூனோ, ஆன் தி இன்சைட், பட் ஆன் தி அவுட் சைட் ஐ வில் லிவ் ஆஸ் த பர்ஃபெக்ட் மிஷனரி கிட். So I came to this decision. And I remember countless arguments that I've had with my parents. I used to advocate against ministry, saying, I will never go to ministry. Ministry is wrong. Ministry தப்பு, இது நீங்கள் பண்ணுற தப்பு, ஏன் இங்கே இருக்கணும், இதெல்லாம். I used to fight. And I've done that for years together, right? And finally I came to one middle ground and I said, I said to my parents, அப்பா அம்மா இங்கே பாருங்கள், மினிஸ்ட்ரிக்கெலாம் நான் வர முடியாது, கொஞ்சம் மெச்சூரிட்டி வந்துட்டப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ணுறேன், காசு சம்பாதிச்சு மினிஸ்ட்ரி கொடுத்துட்றேன். ஸோ ஐ வில் கெட் டு அ குட் ஜாப். காசு நிறையா சம்பாதிச்சு எப்பயுமே ஆண்டருக்கு கொடுத்துடலாம். இன்ஃபேக்ட் ஐ ஸ்டார்டட் திஸ் ஹேபிட் ஆஃப் பிரைபிங் காட். லைக் வாரம் ஃபுல்லாக நான்சென்ஸாக இருந்துட்டு சண்டே மட்டும் டைமுக்கு போயிடுவேன். டைமுக்கு முன்னாடியே போயிடுவேன். பிகாஸ் ஐ யூஸ் டு கோ டு த ஆடியோ, ஐ வாஸ் இன் த ஆடியோ ரூம் அண்ட் சர்வ் இன் சர்ச், நெவர் லிசன் டு எனி sermon, நெவர் வர்ஷிப் காட் ஃபார் ரியல். பட் ஐ வாஸ் லைக், இன்ஃபேக்ட் I don't know if I should say this. In fact, I took baptism as a bribe to God. So in 10th standard, I studied so bad and my life was so bad that I was scared that I will fail. And I started praying after writing all the exams. அப்போ தான் ரியாலிட்டி ஹிட் ஆகும்ல, போச்சுடா செத்த நீ அப்படின்ட்டு. then I realized, இப்போ ஆண்டவர் தான் ஒரே ஒரு வழி பாஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு, பட் அவர் மேலே கோவமும் இருக்குது இப்போது. ஸோ எப்படி இவரை நம்ம பிரைப் பண்ணலாம், எப்படி இவரை நம்ம கரெக்ட் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு then I thought baptism is the best way to, பெஸ்ட் ப்ரெசென்ட் இவருக்கு கொடுத்துடலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு போயிட்டு இது பண்ணி பேப்டிசம்லாம். ஸோ இன்ஃபேக்ட் ஐ டுக் பேப்டிசம் லைக் தேட். I don't regret that decision because something very beautiful happened during my baptism day. I know it is out of the question, just but I'm going to the water. Augustine uncle is giving me baptism. That was my dream come true, right? And though I was in wrong intention, still I was like, God, எல்லாருக்குமே ஒரு வசனம் கிடைக்கும்ல பேப்டிசம் அப்போ எனக்கு என்ன வசனம் கிடைக்கும்? ஐம் லைக் எக்ஸ்பெக்டிங், தண்ணிக்குள்ளேருந்து வரும்போது ஏதாவது ரெஃபரன்ஸ் வரும், சாம்ஸ் ஏதாவது ஐசா ஏதாவது ஒன்று வரும் அப்படின்னு. அங்கிள் ஒரு ரெஃபரன்ஸும் சொல்ல மாட்டேங்கிறாரு. எனக்குன்னா அப்போ இன்னும் ஆண்டர் மேலே கோவம் வருது. He's abandoned me. He doesn't care about me. But uncle said one sentence. He said, you belong to me all the time, 24/7. That's all that he said. At that time, it made no sense to me. I was like, Augustine uncle ஏன் நம்மளை கிளைம் பண்ணிருக்காரு, you belong to me all the time, 24/7. I was so dumb. எனக்கு புரியல அப்போ. But he said, you belong to me all the time, 24/7, praise be to God. இதுதான் uncle சொல்றாரு sentence. And I come out of water and I'm like trying to live a life, but at the same time, I cannot leave sin also. ஏன்னா எனக்கு அவ்வளோ கோவம் இருக்குது and Satan is using that perfectly to take it out in form of sin. That leads to more guilt, which causes me to go more away from God. Then again I'm like, இப்போ இந்த என்ன மூஞ்சி வச்சுட்டு நான் இப்போ ஆண்டட்ட போவேன், அவர் ஆல்ரெடி கேர் பண்ணல எனக்கு, நான் சின்ல வேற இருக்கேன், இன்னும் கில்ட்டு, இன்னும் சின், இன்னும் கில்ட், இன்னும் சின். So I was consistent, the cycle that was there. But on the outside, எல்லா அங்கிளை பார்த்தேன், praise Lord uncle, praise Lord auntie, எங்கே போகிறேன், சர்ச்சுக்கு தான் போகிறேன், எங்களுக்கு ஆடியோ ரூம் நான் தான் போகிறேன், ஆன் பண்ணுறேன், all of these things.
That
But
we were very good at. Just
yeah,
smile.
masking was, we were amazing. I was amazing at it, I should say. Not that I'm proud of it. I was amazing at it, and Satan used that very opportunity to to mess up all that I could have been, I was not, and all of those things. But yeah, childhood was it was like ஆத்துல ஒரு கால் சேத்துல ஒரு கால் மாதிரி தான், completely. It was like that. Yeah, and it was intentional. No, I will never blame anybody for it. Yeah. It was intentional. It was my decision to do that, and Satan just used that to play with my head.
Yeah, but you grew up completely with your parents in the campus. So what were the pressures that you had to go through? Yeah, எல்லாரும் இன்னும் ரொம்ப இப்போ for Sam, he like studied, he was in a boarding school and all of that, okay. So இன்னுமே ரொம்ப pressure இருந்திருக்கும். People சுத்தி வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப ஒரு close magnifying glass வச்சு they would have like looked into every move of yours. So how is it? How is that pressure? What were the other things that you went through as a kid?
I mean, ஸ்கூலில் ஏதாவது பண்ணிடுவோம், சரியா? ஸ்கூலில் ஏதாவது சம்பவம் பண்ணிட்டு வீட்டுக்கு நான் வரதுக்குள்ள எங்க அம்மா அப்பாவுக்கு நியூஸ் போயிடும். ஏன்னா எங்க டீச்சரும் எங்க அம்மா ஒரே கடை தான் காய் வாங்கிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. அக்கா சாம் வந்து இன்னைக்கு அப்படின்னு அங்க நான் வீட்டுக்கு வர்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் சேட்டையை சமாளிச்சு மறைச்சிடலான்னு யோசிப்பேன். பட் மாட்டிக்கிட்டோன்னா முடிஞ்சு. And so I grew up in the parents, so everything was closely watched. At the same time, there was an image to be maintained. That was the biggest problem, I guess. There was this unsaid or invisible or standard to maintain. ஸ்கூல்ல கூட டே ஸ்காலர் இப்படி இருக்கான், நீங்க ஏன் இப்படி இருக்கீங்க, அவன் அப்படி இருக்கான், நீங்க. ஸோ த சேம் கொஸ்டின், லைக் who said that line? Because I didn't choose ministry. Did I hear from God? நான் உனக்கு கனமும் மகிமையானோ? I was in UKG, man. What did I do? நான் ஒரு வாழ்க்கை வாழ்றேன். எனக்கு மியூசிக் விளையாடணும், கிரிக்கெட் விளையாடணும், மியூசிக் வாசிக்கணும், கிரிக்கெட் விளையாடணும், அத்லெட்டிக்ஸ் பண்ணணும். This is all I want and enjoy. That's all. But teachers will be like, it used to be so. I was clueless about it, actually. ஏன் நம்மளுக்கு இப்படி இருக்கு? And every time I used to go to anything like teens in action, or teens ministry, or church service. Agustin uncle gave me and Agustin uncle were talking once, and Agustin uncle gave a very perfect example. He said, ஒரு பாட்டில் எடுத்து அதை பூட்டிட்டு ஒரு இடத்துல வச்சு தண்ணியை திறந்து விட்டா எப்படி இருக்குமோ அந்த மாதிரி you were. I explained my situation to him, and he said that's how you were. Because I used to go to meetings, go to church service, go and serve at church, go and serve at Tina, everywhere, with the bottle with the lid that's closed. I would decide that today I will not listen to the message. I will not worship. I will not. So மெதுவாக ஸ்னீக் அவுட் பண்ணி அப்படியே போய் வடை வாங்கிட்டு வந்துடுவோம். சர்ச் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கும்போது ஏதாவது இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டு வந்துடுவோம். பட் there was consistently eyes watching. ஏதாவது ஒரு கேம்பஸில். ஸோ it would feel like you are being parented by 100 people at once.
Oh, yeah.
So it was not.
Would have been a lot.
Sometimes your parents will also not say certain things for a certain thing. They'll be like, it's okay, but somebody else will come and say, or அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். Everybody meant good, but I think it was just too much for me as a 10-year-old 15-year-old to handle. And so கோப்பிங் மெக்கானிசம் என்ன, அந்த ஒரு இமேஜ் மெயின்டைன் பண்ணணும். அதுக்காக வெளியில் என்னெல்லாம் பண்ண முடியுமோ I would do. And at the same time, there is also a flip side of good things. The same teachers who teach you in school, evening we'll all play cricket together. ஓகேவா? ஸோ இட் பி லைக், சார் குட் மார்னிங் சார், எங்கள் வந்து அண்ணா நீங்கள் இந்த ஓவர் போடுங்கண்ணா, நான் பேட்டிங் போகிறேண்ணா. இட் யூஸ் டு பி லைக் தட் ஆல்சோ. இட் வாஸ் ஃபன். இட்ஸ் ஸோ மச் டு லேர்ன், ஸோ மச் டு செரிஷ். பட் அட் த சேம் டைம் அதை ஹேண்டில் பண்ண ஒழுங்காக தெரியலை. So there was this pressure that was constantly there. Yeah, I mean, I would say that I am way blessed that in certain areas there are so many missionary kids, pastors' kids who are out there who have experienced much more. In fact, I'm humbled to be sitting here today. And I think all of us share the same thing, that we are humbled to be sitting here today, because out there எங்களோட previous generation missionary kids, they have experienced much worse. இன்னும் right now there are so many people. I think, you know, some things that we are saying could just be like a voice out for, you know, for those things that people are facing out there. And yeah, the childhood was a mix of everything, but there was pressure, and did not stop there. Collegeல வந்தாலுமே, college, I'm entering Bishop Weaver College, and I chose to maintain that nobody should know that I'm a missionary kid. யாருக்கும் தெரியக்கூடாது, ஏன்னா அப்போ எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆயிரும். பட் somehow ஒன் ஆஃப் மை டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டில் ஒரு மேம் கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டாங்க. அண்ட் ஷீ டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டில் ஒரு நாள் ஐம் ஜஸ்ட் கோயிங் இன்டு த வாஷ்ரூம். ஷீ லைக், Kenneth, come here. And I go and she like, are you a missionary kid? Yes ma'am. Then she, are you a missionary kid? Serious இருக்காங்க. Yes ma'am. You are a blessing to our department, ma. Such a blessing you are. You have no idea. அப்படின்னு. You know, next day what happened? She was teaching in the class. She said, you are a blessing to the department. Next day she was teaching in the class. I thought she will not see me. அப்படின்ட்டு நான் நல்லா இப்படி யான் பண்ணேன்னா, I punched her head. Same ma'am who called me a blessing. The next day, இப்படி நல்லா கிளாஸ்ல இது பண்ணிட்டு அவங்க டீச் பண்ணிட்டு பின்னாடி போயிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. I did this and I just straight off punched her head, and I'm like, இது நேத்து இதை கேட்காம இருந்திருக்கலாமே நான் மிஷனரி கிட்னு. You know, it was always a pressure, always it was a roller coaster actually. ஆமா.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster. Yeah.
So good to hear about your childhood, Abner. How was your childhood? Where did you grow up?
Growing up fully in a hostel.
Yeah, now you don't get emotional. That's not yeah, for me, these guys, yeah, the Sam is partial. This guy is completely home. I'm completely hostel. This is what you're looking. Actually, something happened. I could have been in with my parents, but something happened. We'll come to that later.
From there, then, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that something?
What was that something?
That's so.
was
Yeah,
not
that's
something, man.
yeah. That's okay. So I was 2.5 years old back then, and we were just settling in. So okay, I'll come from the beginning. Parents, we just moved to Bihar. My dad started the new job for GEMS in Bihar, this place called Karwandia, which is a little far from the headquarters. It was still a remote place, and it was being developed, you know. In fact, we had the biggest construction site in that whole locality. So funds were coming in, and my dad was in charge of the project, and he's amazing with the construction and stuff. So he was going around purchasing, because it's a industrial training institute, which means they have a lot of missionaries and you know, like huge buildings and stuff. So he was very busy. He was learning the language. They didn't speak Hindi, mom and dad back then, learning the language and going around. That area was also a very remote place, and it was very prone to Maoist and Naxalites and all of these people going around, you know. And often people from UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, they all meet in that place.
Okay.
So it's a junction sort of. Yeah, it's a hub. So they begin to notice him. Like, okay, this guy came from Tamil Nadu. They call us Madrasi. Madrasi in Bihar. Hey, this Madrasi has come. He's come with a lot of money. He's investing. He's doing something. Yeah, that is how they say, because they don't know mission work now. No? So they were eyeing him for a bit, and then they put a sketch to like do something and take some like money from him. And yeah, so it was all laid out. And so it was one night, my mom and my dad were in our house that was given, and my mom was feeding me. I was sitting in her hip, you know. I and my mom were in the kitchen. My dad was in the bedroom. He was sitting with a guitar, with a broken guitar, and he was trying to play something. He never plays guitar. He's just trying. And suddenly there was a knock on the door. My dad goes and he opens the door. Usually there is, on that same campus, we had a hen coop. We had a lot of hens there. We used to sell the eggs. That was also a small income for the time being. So there was an uncle who was in charge of closing that hen coop and opening it every night. So my dad thought that uncle is coming to give the keys. His name is Daniel uncle. I still remember. He's very sweet uncle. He came. My dad thought that uncle is coming. Okay, he went and he opened the door. Like, I think close to 12-13 people, all masked up. Some people were masked up, some people wore turbans. They all rushed in, like they flooded into the house. And I think some people had firearms. one guy straightly walked through the door. He went to the kitchen. He pushed my mom inside. He locked the door and he grabbed me. He put me here, and then he walked out quietly, like. And the other people are taking hold of my dad. This guy walked out, and my dad was trying to scream and like get me, but no, it was not able because there were a lot of people, holding him. And then they took him also out. Then my dad was trying to figure out what is happening, but he's still confused. Then he could feel that they put the firearm behind, like leading, like they lead.
Yeah.
And he could feel the pressure, and then they led him out. They didn't, and it was all dark. No current back then. It was all dark, and it's like fields. So the outside the land is like very like like terribly like thorns and stuff. But they still pushed him, made him walk. And I think they took him for a small, like away from the home. And there they asked him, there they spoke something. My dad was not understanding because they were speaking Hindi, then he understood a few words. He understood 50 lakhs, bachas, because he was dealing with numbers. And lakh rupiah, and then he said bacha. Bacha means killed in Hindi. That also he understood. And he said tukda tukda. Pieces. So he connected all these words, but he was only understanding those 3 words. But then they left him midway and they walked away. When this was happening, in my home already, my mom, some people like understood. My mom was shouting, I don't know, something. But people gathered there, and then the other Gems people, and they helped mom come out of the kitchen, and then they were thinking, now dad is also gone, the boy is also gone. And then they went to a nearby, that time we had landline places. So there was an access point very close to home. They have to cross a railway track. They went there and they made a call to Bade uncle. And they said, uncle, like this, it happened.
Bade uncle means Augustine.
Yeah. That's
See, missionary kid language.
Yeah.
That's how they call him.
Bade means big. So yeah.
And uncle was like, he was like stressed. He was, obviously this has never happened. He immediately got out of his house, took his car, and he came. And by the time all of this was happening, my dad was returning because they left my dad. So then dad came, and then uncle came, and we tried to find out what had actually happened, like let it sink in. And then they figured out that, okay, they want a ransom. They've kidnapped the boy. They want money. Okay. Then they went and made a
How old were you, Abner, again?
I think 2.5. 2.5. Crazy. Then they made a formal police complaint. And then the police were searching, and everything was going on. And what happened here after this? But now it's all praying time. Everyone is praying. Prayer. James is praying. Everyone. Okay. Now listen. This is interesting. Prayer requests are sent to the churches down south.
Yeah.
It is sent to Germany. It's sent to everywhere where James sponsors everywhere. Hey, James. And my grandma is praying in church.
Some random kid.
Some random kid is kidnapped.
Oh, she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
தெரியாது.
In Tirunelveli. Church in Tirunelveli. And they're all playing. I mean, even in Chennai, a lot of churches. I mean, and a lot of families, a lot of uncle, aunties. I don't know the name of most of them, but a lot of prayer, it was all happening. And my grandma didn't still know. Like, she did not know still. Now I'm thinking about my mom and my dad. What situation they would have been.
Yeah.
They were actually very stressed out. They were super like that. And then finally they came to a point, I think 2-3 days into it, I was still not found. They came to a point where they got the strength to say, God, even if it goes, we are okay with it.
Yeah.
And they just surrendered it and they just left it. And they just prayed about it, and they tried to get back to normal, and they, not to like
Try to
try,
accept what-
to accept and not like fight with that. And like, and my dad also made it very clear to uncle that you should not give the 50 lakhs anything, because people give that as offering money. You should not give 1 rupee from that for my sons. This one. I mean, I don't know how to take it, but I only admire my dads, man. I mean, how, I don't know. But then they were also trying to find out other ways, all police investigations, they were escalating one level to another, army and all of these things. But then one day when uncle was praying, I think it was some 4 or 5 days into it. One day when uncle was praying about it, God said him that, I've given you people. I've given you people. You just need to make use of those people to solve this thing. So then God also showed some people's face to him.
Yeah.
And then when uncle thought about, he was thinking about these people were actually ex-Maoist, ex-Naxalites and all these
Now
people.
missionaries.
Okay.
And they had accepted God and they were serving in some fields in gems and like that. And then he called them and he said, hey, this has happened, you know all of this? Yeah, we were just waiting whether you will call us and we will speak about this, blah, blah. And he said, I don't know what you'll do. I need to get information about this kid as soon as possible. Do whatever you want. I need information. They said, yeah, don't worry, we'll get it done. And I think it was within that night. Within that night, they traced my location, where I was, everything, which gang it was, everything, all the information, and they informed uncle that, hey, this is where the boy is. He's very safe. He's not harmed. Like he's being taken care of.
Ask him what he was doing.
Yeah, what he was doing when the when the Naxalites
Yeah.
held him. What were you doing? What were
Yeah, I went to them. See, I'm telling second-hand reports. I don't remember any.
Yeah, but we've heard something. Yeah.
So one of the missionaries who was previously an Naxalite who had gone to spy and get information.
Was it William Chaser?
I don't know the name. I also heard it more detail when Augustine uncle shared this as a testimony on Sunday service. It's like one of the men who went to see. He came back home and he was like, "Ayya, he is like he's being fed very well. He's eating nicely there."
Yeah, this guy was something was different about him. They said that even though he was so young, the Naxalites and all, those people, they have observed that every time before eating he will pray like this and he will eat. And chumma irukkumbodhu VBS party, something he'll be humming. So they actually fell in love with this guy. They were admiring.
So these are Naxalites. These are murderers. They kill people. And they've held him captive, kidnapped him for a ransom. And this is a testimony that's that someone has seen and that's coming in. So that is divine protection of God. That is.
Yeah, I've heard that bit. Like I prayed before I think it was a very habitual, like non, it was not. It was involuntary stuff.
Yeah.
But I did pray and. At least that's what I was told.
Yeah.
And they saw it and they were like frightened. They got an impression that this guy is doing some like superficial something.
Supernatural stuff.
2.5-year-old.
Something like that.
Incredibles அந்த ஒரு குட்டி கோசம்.
Sudden
The believing converted Maoist, when they approached them and told them, that is what they told them. See, these guys, they are missionary people. They are not businessmen. They have come here to serve your kids. They are building institutions to serve you guys.
The community there.
Now you have done something very, very wrong. This is a very wrong move. You've done something which is affecting them. And then they said, you better, you release and do all of this. And they just left. And now these young leaders are stuck up with the thought that they're also watching me do all these weird things, praying, Now they're like, no, anything can happen, I'm listening all of these things. Now this guy also is doing some weird stuff. Maybe God is going to hit us or I don't know. Now they're like frightened internally.
Pretty prophet.
I wish. And then they were frightened internally. And then they asked they called Augustine uncle and they told him, hey, they gave a location. They said they gave a time. They said this time will come there. And now it's already 12 days. So I've been with them 12 days. All of this is happening. And then it was, I think, early morning sometime. And then uncle went in a vehicle. That is where I think.
Yeah,
that is
my
where
dad was driving that vehicle.
Your dad was driving.
Joyce's dad was driving the car there.
After all these years, we're meeting.
Some 26 years, no? Wow.
And I also came in the car, so we both were in the car. Your dad and myself. And myself. So then picked me up and then he came and dropped me with my dad and then.
And I also heard uncle வரைக்கும் அவங்க லுங்கில like he doesn't even step out. And பனியன்ல when he got the call, அப்படியே night எப்படி இருந்தாங்களோ லுங்கில பனியன்ல he went running to go bring you back home. Yeah.
No, true. One thing that Augustine uncle is very particular about is safety of the campus, safety of the children, the missionaries, missionary kids. Even till today, he's very keen on that. He's very strict on that. So I think one thing that man never fears anything.
His heart goes out for the people. So I think nothing can.
Yeah. And that, you know, uncle never, he never fears any man, you know. But if something that is going to, you know, bother him is like the safety of the people, because he knows that he has a bigger responsibility, and you know, and all these people have obeyed God and come, you know. And so yeah, what a testimony, right? Like Abner's.
And I also heard வீட்டுக்கு வந்தோம் பாவம் பசியில இருப்பான் கொஞ்சம் பால் கொடுங்கன்னு சொல்லி பால் கொடுத்ததுக்கு வந்து I heard he was like அவங்க கொடுத்த பால் தான் நல்லா
So that was your transition from Bihar to.
Yes, that was the reason. இவனை இப்போ இங்க நினைச்சா நம்ம இங்க நடத்த முடியாது.
நீங்க மறுபடியும் அவங்க கிட்ட அங்கேயே நல்லா இருந்துச்சுன்னு போயிடுவான்.
But the beauty is, I see my dad and mom. After this happened also, I will stay here. I will do the same mostly. I will never leave this place. I'm like, what level of commitment? What level of.
Yeah, really. Hats off to the parents.
On behalf of.
Then you came down to SV then. Yeah. Okay.
That was because of the pressure of my family. My family.
His party came to know, no?
Oh.
He's praying. அம்மா உங்க பேர் என்ன? என் பேர்
sort of. Yeah, then they told my parents to like, you better leave them with us. We'll take care of your kids. Need not you do ministry.
Yeah.
We'll take care of.
So then Abner was in a hostel, and I remember Abner's party would come to see second Saturday.
Okay.
எங்களுக்கு யாருமே வர மாட்டாங்க. You know, like some relatives were there, but like most of the second Saturdays, no one used to come and visit me. So Abner's party used to bring pandam for me, you know, pandam. SV language, you know, hostel language, pandam. So pandam could be anything. It can be a murko, it can be burger, it can be anything in between.
Anything apart from hostel food.
Anything.
Apart from hostel food, anything is
hostel food. Anything you TikTok kudutha kuda no pandam. So I remember his party very well. She used to carry this, you know, bucket இதெல்லாம் இது வந்துட்டு அந்த இது இருக்கும்ல வாளியிலலாம் பேக் பண்ணி தூக்கு வாளியில கறி குழம்பு இட்லி கறி குழம்பு.
So much. I miss my party.
Hey, you're a precious kid. You went there and you come back. Like huge no.
Yeah.
And I remember Samraj calling. You know, they'll get to call once a week. Okay.
Once a week ஒரு PC இருக்கும். ஆமா. Landline.
அதில் அந்த ₹1 முடிகிற வரைக்கும் தான்
அந்த 6 minutes 7 minutes தான் பேரண்ட்ஸ் கிட்ட
பேச முடியும். So when Samraj calls from SV, I will go to canteen at that time. இந்த டைம்ல தான் எங்கேயாவது கால் பண்ணுவேன். I can in canteen. இவங்க அப்பா அம்மாக்கே 6 நிமிஷம் தான் கிடைக்கும். அதுலயும் நானும் வெயிட் பண்ணிருப்பேன் லைன்ல பேசலாம் அப்படின்னு. And his mom will call, சாமியா எப்படியா இருக்க, நல்லா இருக்கியா, சாப்பிட்டியா, என்ன பண்டம் அமைச்சிங்களா, பண்டம் அமைச்சிங்களா.
டைம் முடிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கும். டைம் அடுத்த பையன் வேற நின்றுட்டு அப்படியே பார்த்துட்டே இருப்பான், என்ன போறானா இல்லையா இவன் அப்படின்ட்டு. அங்க இது செமையா நல்லா சாப்பிட்டியாமா இது பண்ணி பண்டம் அமைச்சிங்கன்னா தான் சாப்பிட முடியும்.
I think it was a love language of SE kids. It was a love language.
நானே the very first time 2 days முன்னாடி தான் I heard. First time அந்த வார்த்தை பண்டம். அக்கா டாம் வாங்க உங்களுக்கு நாங்க பண்டம் தரோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு.
பண்டம் can be anything. Parota, it can be snacks.
But just adding on to what we were just talking about Abner's parents. So Augustin uncle ஒரு ஆள் வந்து when God called him எல்லாத்தையும் விட்டுட்டு அந்த ஒரு man வந்து Godக்கு obey பண்ணிட்டு போனது. Now he's being a blessing.
So people always have been having hesitation to serve God. He's wearing a gold chain when I saw him. So I don't think we need to support him for his studies. I was like, missionary kidna அப்போ blessing-ஏ பார்க்கக்கூடாத வாழ்க்கையில். Misunderstanding is the biggest game that Satan is playing today. நல்லா ஒரு கேம்ப் அட்டென்ட் பண்ணிட்டு நல்லா ஒரு இதாகிட்டு இப்படி வரான், வீட்டுக்கு வரும்போது சேம் சினாரியோ, சேம் திட்டு, சேம் ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் இருக்கும் போது he feels like that ministry is waste,